it's me, Ari Bell, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you are new, please subscribe, and don't forget you are all.
Now, speaking of treasure, you young lads, be sure to get your lollipop from the treasure chest across the way. You say you've heard of the Shanghai tunnels, eh? Rarely does a person dare to mention those words around here. But I suppose I can tell you a bit since you've asked. Just be careful to guard this information and keep it locked up secret. The tunnels, the pirate.
Get a drink from the street. They just walk down here. Now, Mr. Reynolds built this place for those sailors, and he built it so he could make some money and leave the town. Now, when he did build this place, he did not realize that it would be a hotbed for smuggling. The smugglers came into town because of the fact that it was easy for them to do business here when nobody knew they were down there. At a cloak of darkness, they would come into town, sneak through that tunnel. Nobody would ever see them down there, and the men buying the illicit goods would be there waiting for them. So all that activity went on down here. Now, when a sailor went down there for a drink, sometimes he had his life in his hands, because smugglers were always looking for men to hire on their ship or acquire on their ship. And they did a couple of ways of getting a sailor on their boat, even if the sailor didn't want to go. What they would do is they see him sitting there by himself, they buy him a drink. As soon as he had one or two, he'd be okay, but after the third or fourth one, he'd be unconscious. Then that captain would pick him up, carry him out through the tunnel and out to the ship, and the sailor would wake up the next day on deck, out to sea with a headache and a new job. And men would disappear from here so often, the reputation for this place became notorious, and in the end, the only people wanting to come here were the roughest, toughest, scurviest sailors. People like Mr. One-Eyed Jack. It all ends in 1909, when Prohibition strikes Georgia. Alcohol is no longer served in the entire state. The place goes out of business and becomes like a little boarding house. In 1939, a woman by the name of Mary Hilliard buys the building, and she turns it into a little restaurant called the Tea Room, and it's like a breakfast and lunch place. Very popular with locals as well as tourists. But in 1953, Herb Traub shows up from Atlanta and buys the building off of Mary. Now, his idea is to turn the building into a fine dining restaurant, as part of it you see today. But what he wanted to do was to bring in tourists, and he did it in a very unconventional way. He told everybody a story that was not true, and that story is that he told people that Robert Louis Stevenson, a famous writer, wrote the famous book Treasure Island here in this place. Now, it never happened. Robert Louis Stevenson is from England, but he never came to Savannah. He made his story up like good writers do. But Mr. Traub told everybody it was a true story about real pirates that came here to eat, drink, and sleep. He even had people convinced that one of the captains of that pirate ship, old Captain Flint, drank himself to death in one of the bedrooms upstairs, and for proof of that, you can hear his ghost running around even today, crying the last words old Flint would ever say, which of course is, "Darby, pass me the rum." I mean, that would be all well and good if Flint was real and everything, but as far as I know, he's a fictional character in a book. So it's pretty hard for me to get my mind around the fact that he has a ghost running around up there. I'm having a hard time with the real ghost, let alone a fake one. But you know what? Traub told that story to so many people that they will come here today, even years later, after Mr. Traub's long gone. They'll come here to ask me the question that's always burning in their mind. And that question always is, what room did Captain Flint die? You know, they're lucky, because I know where Captain Flint died. I'll be glad to tell them, too, if they really want to know. By the way, he died on page 9. It had nothing to do with the restaurant. But because of that, people still come, and you know what? The sailors, the smugglers are long gone, but now they say their ghosts are down there to let you know how things used to be in the old days. And if you hang around long enough, you might bump into one or two. And if you really want to get to know those ghosts, you got to take old Savannah tours. They'll take you on a ghost tour.
Oh, I caught a few pictures myself.
What?
I caught a few pictures myself.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Where?
On the Savannah Ghost Tours.
Oh, yeah. You've seen some things?
Yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this, and if y'all did, please give this a big thumbs up. And don't forget you're awesome, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.